Welcome back to the channel. This week on the Kiwi Barefoot Gardening, we're going to be doing some seed sowing and potting on the cucumbers, testing the new thermostated propagation pads and seeing how they work, giving the New Zealand Cranberry that I was gifted a really good prune and haircut, and harvesting a hefty haul of winter vegetables with a wee bit of help from Lou. So let's grab a cuppa, pull on your gumboots and come potter with me through the week and see how things go. My name is Dawn and I am the Kiwi Barefoot Gardener. Now, with it being August at the beginning, I decided that I would go through all my seeds and work out what needed to be planted this month. Over the years, I've had a couple of different systems where I've written lists out and ticked things off for each month or even each week. And at other times, I have just gone into the shelves and grabbed things randomly. But this year I've gone back to a system that I've tried a couple of times, and it usually works the best for me, is put everything out once a month, and as I plant it, put it away. So this is the stuff that I need to plant that doesn't need to go into a heated seed tray. And this is the stuff that needs to go into heated seed trays. It looks a lot only because I've left a lot of it in the boxes rather than putting the individual packets out. So it's not as much as it actually looks. So I have sorted out the first of my non-heat tray, heated seed tray seeds. And what I've got is some Savoy cabbage, some rockets, some summer spinach, some cauliflower, both the all-round and some Romanesco, and 3 different types of kale, some parsley, both flat leaf and curly, and some sweet pea. I haven't made my mind up yet around about whether to do the parsley or not, because I've got heaps in the garden. So I've got some trays of seed raising mix. Now, I don't buy the bag stuff from the shops, it's just way too expensive. What I tend to do is just the stuff that I use as compost or mulch or soil improver, whatever you like to call it, on top of my garden, and fill all my planters and my pots and things with it. It's called Super Grow. It's just a mixture of organic matter and things like that. I sieve that, and then I use that as my seed raising mix. Now, some people say that seed raising mix needs to be a really low nutrient type stuff. Yep, if that's what works for you, go for it. I find this works for me, and I often add just some vermiculite type stuff. This is Zoolite, which is the really cheap white chippy stuff that you get for cat litter from New World, and it holds moisture, and I use that. In seed raising trays I don't use it as much, but I'd mixed up this for potting on, so I'm just using what's left, and the really big bits I've just picked out. All the bits that I sieve out of it are sort of like the barky stuff and what have you, or the woody bits. I use that as my brown matter for my compost. So if you're doing your compost, it should be 2/3 green to 1/3 brown, roughly. You know, it just depends on what you're throwing in there. So I use that for that, and it works really well. And you know, it's just really composting it again. So I've just got some little trays here. They work well for me because I'm just going to scatter sow some of these seeds to start with, and then once they've germinated and got to a reasonable size, I'll prick them out into 6 cells and then go from there. So I think what I'll do is I'll start off with my spinach. I like, for summer, I use Summer Supreme, which I've always found good. It doesn't bolt, seems to tolerate the intense heat here in Canterbury, even when I grow it in an area that's not overly shaded, because my main veggie garden doesn't have a lot of shade, so it works well for me. So I'm going to do that, and then I might do some cabbage and some cauliflower, and then finally some kale, and I'll think about the rocket and the parsley. Sunday afternoon, the 3rd of August. I've escaped from being inside. I was doing my seedlings and things earlier, but the sun came out. Not that it's particularly warm out here, there's still a cold wind. But I thought I'd come out and do a few things. Now, yesterday was a great day out here, and one thing led to another, and I was puddling around. And I decided to have a go at this area. Now, this area I said in the garden tour last week that I really needed to do something with it. It had the catnip in it, but it also had a lupin in it. Now, I planted about 3 or 4 lupins last year, regretted it by autumn, and I had managed to dig 2 up, but I had 2 to go. One being in here and one just being on the other side of the camera and with the peach tree. So I was feeling inspired yesterday, and I actually managed to get them out. I didn't film it. It took me about an hour. Bit of cursing, bit of swearing and a few other things, wondering why the hell I planted them in the first place. I do love lupins, but they're not for my garden, I've realised. So this area here I want to revamp, and the arbour's over there. I've got some bulbs on either end of it. I've got a very sad looking sage there, and I've actually got 2 other sages in the garden, and that one is just looking really sad. Can't see on the camera, but there's a little structure there made out of wire and what have you for the sweet pea, and I did that last year, and I'd like to do them again this year here. And I've got the lupin out, I've got the catnip here, but I want to move it, and it really does need sort of breaking down and splitting up because it's just got too big for the area. And on my other side there was originally a lavender, but that died because of the catnip falling on top of it and just sort of drowning it out and me not doing anything about it. And then I got some more of the same bulbs. They're iris bulbs that my lovely neighbour gave me, and they really started to establish, and I don't want to move them. So what I'm thinking of doing, and it's a bit of a chicken and the egg thing, is moving this, mainly just digging it up, splitting up, putting it in pots, I think, for now, and thinking about it. It'll be about the 4th time I've moved it. It was gifted to me originally as a tiny wee plant. I had it on the deck, it self-seeded into the strawberry bed. Took me ages to get that out, put the self-seed. It's been moved around the back garden a bit, and it's moved twice, I think, here. And I've split it up a couple of times, and I've got another one over where the apricot tree is, and that's the one where the cats, not just my cats, but the neighbourhood cats, absolutely muller. They lay on it, they beat it up, they rip it apart, but they don't seem to bother about this one at all. So I'm going to rip that apart, and then my idea is, and this is where the chicken and the egg stuff comes, is that I've got a large New Zealand cranberry that someone was giving away, and it's in a big pot. Now I'd love to put it in probably in the middle of here, and then put sweet pea on either side on those structures that I've got, and then wait and see how that fills out for the year, and then just use some annuals maybe just to fill in the gaps for now, and then maybe put some more perennials in next winter come summer once I see how that goes. But what I'm going to do this afternoon, leading up to all this, is I'm actually going to have a go at the cranberry, and we'll go and have a look at it in a moment. It's in a very large pot. It hasn't been pruned in some time by the looks of it. Now, I've never had a cranberry, so I've looked up what to do, and it's fairly, dead, diseased, damaged sort of thing, and any crossovers and clearing the centre and just opening it up so that the air can get around it sort of thing. So I'm going to go, and we're going to have a look at that in a sec. It's going to take a bit of a marathon, I think, to get it in, because it's in a huge pot, and I don't think I can get it out of the pot because the pot's one of these curvy lippy ones, so it sort of goes up like that, and I'm not going to be able to get it out. I think the pot's a goner. But it's quite a strong pot, so how I'm going to get it out of there, we're not sure yet. My next thing after trimming that up, and it may not be today because the wind might be too cold, is to do the catnip and get that sorted. Now, the structures that I've got for the sweet pea, they're in reasonably good nick, but there is a bit of rust on them. They're metal. I bought them probably about 4 or 5 years ago. They've generally just done things like melons and cucumbers. One of them did the sweet pea last year, but they need to be sort of tarted up a bit. So I'm going to take that out and give it a good clean up, and I've got a bit of hammerite that'll tidy that up, and it'll be ready for summer, hopefully. Right, I'll take you away now, and we're going to have a look at this poor cranberry. So this is my cranberry, New Zealand cranberry. I think it's also known as a guava of some sort, Chilean guava. It's apparently been in the pot for like up to about 10 years. It's had some pruning in the past, but not recently. And when I got it, other than just basically giving it a water and what have you, I just plonked it here by the greenhouse and haven't done anything to it since, because my plan was to give it a really good trim back over winter and then plant it in the ground, which is what I'm up to now. So I'm going to quietly work my way through this. It's not going to be a 5-minute job. I'll record some of it, but you don't need to see me for hours doing this. But I will put the camera on and we'll do a bit of fast action. It's the fastest I ever move is when I do the fast action on the camera. So we'll get going in a sec. Okay, right. Yes, it does look extreme, but there was a lot of dead wood inside and it really needed opening up. The good thing is that there is actually some new shoots coming up from the base, which is great. Unfortunately, one of them's coming through the rim of the pot. I think the pot's plastic, but it's fairly heavy duty, so it's going to be a interesting thing to try and get out, if I can get it out in one piece. We'll have to see. But I'm not expecting it to fruit this year. It's it's had what one of the ladies that does the tree pruning courses locally calls a restoration cut. So hopefully that will give it a new lease on life, and that this summer it will concentrate on growing some new growth, and with that next year I'll give it another good prune, but more pruning it so that it is growing outwards, and that it's got lots of air in there. Fingers crossed it firstly transfers into the garden in one piece, and secondly doesn't mind its severe haircut. Good afternoon. So it is Tuesday the 5th and my new heat pads have arrived. So this morning I've been puddling around setting them up. You can see them there, the flat ones. I am hoping I've got them set up right. So they will take a couple of the bigger trays that I have, plus a couple of small trays. And I am going to, this afternoon, puddle around and do some more seed sowing. So we'll have a look at what I'm doing in a minute. But I thought I'd just do a very quick show and tell of the new heat pads to start with. And once they're all set up, I'll show you what I've done. So I've set myself up on my little end of table workstation. And I spent a wee bit of time this morning just going through what had come up, what hadn't come up, and what I needed to add to that now that I've got the new heat mats. So of the chilies that I sowed, I've got way enough cayenne. That's fine. And of the other ones, the orange habanero and the lemon drop, I got 3 of each of those out of, I think it was 6 that I sowed. So I got about half. So I'm hoping that with that. Now with the free gift one, the mystery one, none came up. So I've only got, I've got about 4 or 5 seeds left. I'll plant 4. I'm going to use this little seed tray that I've got. Last time when I planted them, I gave each chili a single space, but now that I'm doing a bit more planting out and what have you, they're going to have to share. So I'll do 4 seeds per thing, which is a wee bit crowded, but I found it works quite well. If I pop them in the corners, then when I have to lift them out with my doobree here, it works quite well, and then I can just slide them into a new pot, having made a good size hole for them just to slip into, and they don't seem to sulk or anything, so that's good. So I'm going to do all of those, that's 4, and then I worked out, what did I work out? Probably need another 4 each of the habanero and the lemon drop, and these were the ones that my friend gave me, and one of them, they've not even had 2 weeks yet, but one of them I think I got 2, the other hasn't come up. So I'll probably just pop another 4 each of them in, just to get them onto the hotter mat, and do that. So that will take up 5 of these cells, and then I've got a new eggplant that I want to put together. This one is, I've done the standard eggplant, what they call the Black Beauty, which is the one that you buy in the shop basically. This one is excuse my pronunciation, I think it's carafe, but it's, from my understanding, looking at the pictures that aren't actually on here, but online, it's more sort of a globy one, and it's purple with lovely white stripes across it. So I'm going to do a few of those. I've got listed 8 for them because I've got enough. Most of those other eggplants have come up that I planted the other day, so I'm going to be well endowed with eggplants. But as I've said in the past, they're not all for me, they're for a couple of other projects that I've got going. So that's where I'll start with those first, and then we'll move on to some capsicums. I did an audit of what's come up and what hasn't come up. And then the other day I put in a full tray of sweet Genevieve basil, so that's the standard sweet basil. It's still a long way away from germinating, and it's on the standard heat mat, so it's just doing around about 19-20 degrees. But I have got a couple of other basils that I'm keen to try. I've got a cinnamon basil and a Thai basil, so I'm going to try both of those as well, and they actually want the warmer heat pad, so I'll do those as well. So I'm just going to puddle around here and do that, and I'll do a wee bit of filming and a bit of speedy. Good morning. It is Friday the 8th of August, and we're going to do a wee bit of a seedling update. I've changed it from Chili Watch to seedling update because I've planted a whole lot more stuff. So having a look at what I've done, I have a whole lot of peppers and chilies that are ready, almost ready to pot on just over here by the window. Some of them have just starting to put out their true leaves, so that's awesome. For the first time in I don't know how long, I've got a really good strike of sweet Genovese basil. I've planted it over the years and always got a really patchy strike, but with the heated propagators, this one is the one that just stays static at 20 degrees. I've got a really good one. I have put some brassicas in on the heated propagator. I'm probably going to take them off today because they really don't need to be on there. I can't remember why I did it, but I did. So they probably just need to come off, otherwise they're going to get long and leggy and not actually be very good for anything. Now, my new heated thermostated ones, I'm only using one at the moment, and on there I have got some chilies and some more peppers. So that's really good. That's that wee basket. And on the container behind it, I've got the carafe eggplants and then some cinnamon and Thai basil, as well as, what have I got in this one? Flowers. I put some petunias in, and Rebecca and echinacea. So they all said that they needed to be around about between 20 and 25 degrees. So I've got this set at 25. So fingers crossed. So that's really good. And I potted up my cucumbers, and they seem to be quite happy in their new pots, and we'll leave them there for at least another couple of weeks. They're going to have to be quite a lot taller before I think about potting them on again, and they'll probably start to need support soon too. Right, I'll just move the camera. Just hold the phone. Now, my head's going to be cut off on this, so I apologise for that. So at this end of my indoor propagation station, I've got mainly stuff that I've either potted on or doesn't need to be in the heated propagators. So I've got my potted on chilies, and there's some more over there, as well as here. So that's all good. It's nice to have them. First my lettuce. And they're doing okay. And my onion seeds have started to pop up, all except for the red onion seeds. And if I remember rightly, last year I had problems with the red onions, but the spring onions, the white onions, and I think the red spring onions, or is it the other way around? No, the red spring onions haven't popped up. It's the red onions have. Okay, go figure. And then on the other side, I have some other stuff. I think spinach, and I can't quite see what else is there at the moment. The other thing I have here is my very sad-looking basil. Now this basil is from last year, and the cuttings I took and propagated the cuttings, but they haven't done as well as I hoped over winter. But I was keeping them and trying to get them to go on so I could actually use them for cuttings to propagate more, because as I said, I don't really previously had great germination of basil. So now I'm getting some better germination. They may not be as important. Now, the one thing I am going to do this today is to actually set up a fan, just an ordinary oscillating fan. And the reason for that is that these seedlings will be very soft, very tender. And all I'm going to do is set it on really low at a reasonable distance, just so that they get a gentle breeze across them. And the idea is that because they're getting the breeze and they're moving a wee bit, that it'll actually strengthen them, as they would if they were being germinated outside with the wind and other stuff. So that's my thing. Some of the seedlings are doing very well. These ones here were the ones that I potted on first. As you can see, he's doing wonderfully. I'm really pleased about that. I'm not sure how well you can see him. Let's see if I can bring him out. Here we go, and I'll just pop my hand there so he's a bit better. So, yeah, he's just a wee cayenne chilli. So I'm pleased with that. And they'll stay in those wee pots for quite a number of weeks till they have set up some really good roots. Sorry about the changing light. It's because the weather's changing outside and the camera's trying to adjust to it. So yeah, I'm going to try and make the seed raising station a weekly thing to see how things are going. And then eventually, as summer comes in, we'll phase it out for this year. Good afternoon. It's still Thursday and it is lovely out here. It is a bit windy, but not horrendously windy. Definitely wouldn't want to be out the front now. The wind will have got up so much that it will be too windy to be out there. But out the back of the house, where it's a bit more sheltered from the easterly, it's good. So what I'm going to do this afternoon is I'm actually going to do some harvesting. I don't think we've done much harvesting together, but there's plenty in the garden to be had at the moment. So there's carrots and there's silver beet and there's broccoli and there is cauliflower. Spinach is just between harvests and things. So yeah, can have a look. Might even try and harvest a parsnip, which is always fun. Not. My parsnips seem to want to go deep, and trying to get them out, even when you do the old push, twist and pull up, doesn't seem to work with them, but we'll have a go. So yeah, we're going to do a wee bit of harvesting this afternoon, and then I'm going to look at some of the brassicas that are around. I've got, just behind the camera, I planted some brassicas rather late. They were meant to be sort of so that they'd get going in spring, but I noticed one or two of them isn't looking too healthy, so I might replace them. I've got some broccoli, the calabrese, the big head stuff, seedlings that I potted on all of about 10 weeks ago, and they've been sitting outside, so they just been quietly ticking over. They look like they really need to get out, so I'm going to have a look at what I've got that I've already harvested, whether it's starting to put sprouts out or not. If they're not, then I'm going to take them out and replace them with this broccoli. Yeah, so I'm just going to have a puddling around, and then if it's still staying nice later, I might even do a bit more tidying up and weeding. I've got one bed out here that needs to be, my flower bed out here that needs it. I did a bit this morning after doing the soil out the front, so yeah, just going to really enjoy the sunshine, because next 3 to 4 days is meant to be stink. So yeah, right, off we go. So the first thing I'm going to harvest is some carrots. These were sown late December, I'm wanting to say. There might be a label here somewhere that will tell me. I usually take it, but it may have gone west by now. But yeah, I'm going to harvest some of them and see how they go. I've harvested some over the last, I don't know how many weeks, and they've been fairly good. I've just sort of been thinning them out size-wise as I go. Some have been good. Yeah, that's not bad. It's a bit hairy, but it's not bad. So, yep. Give them a brush off, and going to harvest enough for a few days because the weather's going to be so stink. I don't really want to keep coming out for them. So, see how we go. Probably going to end up with some small ones because they're next to the larger ones. Oh, hello, darling. Right, I've got enough carrots, and I've just checked the parsnips in the bed where the carrots that I've just harvested are. They're still a wee bit small, they're probably about that big at the top, but I've got a couple of parsnips here in this bit just in front of me. You may be able to see it. It's hard to see on the camera at the moment because of the sun. I've got younger parsnips here, but I've got two older ones that I'm going to see if I can get them out. Last time I dug parsnips out of here, it took me about 15 minutes for each one of them because they had just gone the full depth of the bed, and these beds are at least 30 to 40 centimetres deep, and it looked like they'd headed right down underneath the beds as well because the beds are sitting on dirt here. So I'll have a go, we'll see. So it broke as I got it out. I tried the push down twist, but I had to dig out enough around it to be able to grab hold of the parsnip. If anyone's got an easier way of doing it, I know once you sort of start a row, you can get them out easier, but up till Christmas this year, I've never actually been able to strike a whole row. I end up with maybe 3 or 4 at most in a full row along, here. But the ones that I started off at Christmas have done wonderfully. They're not just quite ready yet, but they're not far off it. But it is what it is. So I'm quite happy with that. You may or may not have seen Lou was trying to give me a hand, bless him, trying to dig the hole out for me. Oh well, right, now on to the next thing. Right, so the next thing's the broccoli. Hopefully you're not too wonky. I have got you on level, but it's hard to tell with this big on a hill. But there's also danger lurking in underneath here. Lou's just moved into under here to protect the broccoli. Bless him. So there's 2 heads there that are about ready to harvest. So I'll show them to you once I've harvested them. I'm just going to have to be careful because I know Lou's in here and I've got a knife, so I've just got to be wary that wherever he is, that I'm not going to hurt him. Where are you, Lou? Where are you, Lulu? There you are. I knew you were there somewhere. Come on, out you come, darling. Come out while Mum does this. Thank you. He's very protective of his broccoli. Is our Lou. It's a good place to hide. Being a black cat, even at this time of year, can be a bit hot. Right, sorry if I'm just out of shot for a sec. I'm just going to get the second head. There we go. So there's another 3 or 4 heads there that are coming along quite nicely, but they're the ones that I've got. Nice tight heads. Wanted to get them before the bad weather because I'm pretty sure that once the bad weather comes through and it warms up again, these will just blow and open up. So one of them will be for tea tonight, the other one tomorrow or the next day. But we've got cauliflower to harvest in a sec. So I'm just going to tidy these up and then we'll move on to the cauliflower. Right, so moved on to the cauliflower. Now I planted a mixture of, not cats anyway. Hello pussycat, you gardening the cauliflower? Hey? You don't want the mummy to steal the cauliflower? Okay. You disappear, okay. Right, so I planted a mixture of the standard white ones and I also did some Romanesco. So there's a mix. I think today though they're both Romanesco that need harvesting and they've got quite big. So I'm not going to be able to eat all that cauliflower in a couple of days or even a week. So I'll probably process some of it and blanch it tomorrow when the weather's stink and freeze it for later. So we'll have a look at see what I've got and hopefully it's all that I'm hoping it for it to be. So that's the smaller of the 2. I'm harvesting it because it's sort of starting to fall apart. That's a Romanesco by the looks of it. Pretty colour, and you can see the beautiful architectural structure to it. Yeah, so that's one. And this is the other, and it's starting to blow a wee bit too. But yep, they'll make yummy things. You can see the beautiful structure there. And that actually only leaves me with one ordinary cauliflower, so done quite well. I've harvested like in the last couple of weeks a few, so, and I didn't plant, I think I only planted about 6 in total, and one got I think early on, so yeah, happy with that. Right, last thing I'm going to harvest is some spring onions. So in this bed in front of me at the moment I've got garlic growing here, spring onions, about 4 rows, and then the back row is some leeks. I've got leeks elsewhere as well. So I'm going to harvest some spring onions because the onions that we had from the summer, all the fresh ones I stored, are gone now, and we're just going through the frozen ones. They were ones that I froze were the ones that weren't good enough to store over any period of time, so I just chopped them up, bagged them and popped them in the freezer, and they've been really handy just to throw into stews and casseroles, etc. But now we've got the spring onions. I did harvest a couple of weeks ago, managed to pull the top off one of them, but yeah, so I'm going to get, these are just coming on quite nicely now. They're just at the right height for what I want. And as we're having a stir fry for tea tonight with some of the other veggies, some spring onion will be lovely in it. Right, so that's not a bad haul. We've got a couple of heads of broccoli, 2 cauliflower, Romanesco cauliflower, one smaller than the other, but still good sizes. Got a good bunch of spring onions, some carrots, one slightly snapped parsnip, and what else we got? We got silver beet. Yep, so that'll keep me going quite nicely now for the next few days with the ratty weather that's going on. I'll take that inside soon and tidy it up, process it all, and pop it in the fridge so that we've got it ready and available. Some of it we'll eat tonight, and yeah. Now I'm going to spend the rest of the afternoon tidying up around the garden and planting a few more brassicas, mainly broccoli. I've got other brassicas there, but they've sort of got a bit past being planted out. They're just going to bolt if I put them in. They look a bit stressed, and generally a stressed plant, all it does will be is to bolt. So I'll tidy them up. We've still got plenty in the garden to get us right through to spring and through to the early part of summer when things start coming away. Still got plenty of spinach, and the broad beans are flowering. Probably not going to get a hell of a lot off my Brussels sprouts, but at least get the tops off them. The kohlrabi, just looking at that, I'm thinking that might be bolting. It looks like it's put up some flower heads, so I'm not quite sure why it's done that. And my swede, I've had a look at them. We'll get something out of them, but they're not going to be a traditional nice big globe. The leeks will be coming in soon. I'll start harvesting them when they're quite small, so that by the time we get through them all, will be plenty. Yeah, so quite happy with that, really. So I'm going to enjoy my afternoon in the sun before the bad weather gets here, terrorise a few weeds, and I'm sure Lou will come back and help me. He's off terrorising something at the moment, bless his cotton socks. But yeah, whether it's playing with the neighbour's cat or laying all over the catnip that I've just tidied up, I'm sure he will mess that up. So it's that time of week we can have a coffee, or in this case a cup of tea, and a chat and look at what we've been doing for the week. So we started off with doing some seed sowing, which was great. I got quite a bit in, but I've still got quite a lot to do. But with being cold and wet, I'll probably be able to get quite a lot of that done in the next few days. Most of it needs to be here inside, and anything that needs to be out in the greenhouse I'll do inside and then shunt on outside in the times it's not raining. So yep, that'll be good, getting that in, and then I'll be able to tick those things off in my mind that they're done. The restoration pruning of the cranberry, I'm hoping that I haven't destroyed the poor thing. It hasn't got out of the pot yet. The weather's just not been good enough, so I need to do it over a weekend when I can get some help from the family. I also need to talk to hubby about how we're going to get it out of the pot. He might have a better idea than I do. So that'll get done probably in the next week or two. I'm hoping next weekend will be better weather than this weekend. The new heat pads, they look good and they seem to be doing well. Well, I've got one running. I'm about to put the other one up into use either this afternoon or tomorrow and get that going. But definitely seen some success with it already. There's a few things that have germinated. It was the cinnamon basil that's come up on that, so that's awesome. Still plenty of time for the rest to come up. I mean, it's only really just gone in. So happy with those and happy with the way they're working. So see how they go when I get the tomatoes and things like that going on them as well. Harvesting the vegetables was great. Lots and lots of help from Louis. Not all of it shown after editing, but yep, there was lots of help. I didn't show the bit where he was helping me dig the parsnip up. It was quite funny. I'd done a big hole and he was getting in there and digging it. But yeah, so having the veggies for the cold wet weather would be great. We're having a casserole type thing tonight, so we'll definitely be using them. I'd just like to thank everyone who's subscribed to date. It's awesome. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed to date, yeah, go to it. It's free. It doesn't cost anything to do. You get notifications of when there's new stuff out. And if you can also comment and like and watch the videos all the way through. It helps with the little old YouTube algorithm. So I really appreciate any of that. Next week I'm hoping to get out and do the hydrangea pruning. I noticed that they're actually starting to put out some wee leaves, so I need to get out and do that. And all going well, I'll also do the fuchsias. Just really dependent on the weather. This bad weather that we've currently got is forecast to go through till late Tuesday, Wednesday. So if I can get out Thursday and Friday, I'll definitely get them done. Now this vlog is fairly long again, so I'm going to leave it there, and I am wishing you all a warm, dry and safe week, and until next week, bye.